Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. It is Thursday night. It is 8:30, and it should be about something. That's
and I'm
Michael
pretty
Smollett.
bloody sure it is about something.
It is.
This is Jim Libby.
And we are so glad that you made it again to hang out with us. It's another Thursday night. It is another 3 chapters that we're going to talk about, and it's another setup.
Yeah, it's another plethora of new stuff we've got. Like, we've got this little thing down here, and we've got this going, and we've got a table.
We've got a table.
We've got a brand new background.
We've got a brand new background.
Check it out.
We're super excited. As always, we're really happy when anybody tunes in. So if you are here, let us know on the chat that you are here and have arrived and are feeling good and feeling free. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling kind of free. How are you feeling?
I feel excellent.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like my stuff.
You like your stuff.
I'm pretty happy all round.
Yeah, man.
Got not too much to complain about.
I love it. I'm psyched for that. You know, it should be about something every Thursday. It comes to you in 3 chapters. Tonight, our first chapter.
One of Uncle Mike's personal peeves, personal favorite rants. Buying clothing online. Are you a subscriber to this? Are you not? Have you dealt with it? How much do you suffer? Tell us about it in the chat, and we'll take it apart. We'll give it the Jim and Michael treatment, god damn it.
Yeah. I have to admit, Michael, I'm not really sure how this got to be its own discussion. I feel like we kind of touched on this perhaps last week.
Well, because we were talking about, has the internet made life better or not? I think we agreed that the internet has made life better. But, and this is one of the buts. And I think it's a pretty big butt, because it's a big
butts,
fat, ugly butt.
Does this outfit I bought online make my butt look big?
It makes your butt look big even if we can't see it.
Tell me about them big butts, Michael. I want to hear all about your big butt.
Okay, so first of all, my biggest peeve about shopping online clothing shopping is that since online clothing shopping has exploded so much and has become such a big thing, it's almost impossible to get a good selection of stuff when you go to a regular shop.
Right. And so this is a way that the internet is killing the brick and mortar.
It's like making stuff worse.
Right.
It's a reverse improvement.
Right.
Okay, so my wife bought me a pair of shoes online the other day.
What a wonderful woman.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Now, when you say she bought you a pair of shoes online, does that mean like she thought, I need to get Michael a pair of shoes?
No.
Or was it like,
no.
I saw some shoes
No.
and I happen to have Michael's credit card on me.
No, so she's a much better wife than that.
Oh.
Like, she doesn't buy me anything without checking with me first.
Aw. Yeah. See, that's that open communication that we're always looking for.
So she sent me the link and said, how do you like these? And I'm ordering something from this store. In any case, I could just order these for you. And since it's really difficult to get like black trainers that don't look like trainers you can wear for smart casual or when you're working, and they just don't look shitty.
Time out. If you were looking for black shoes that are like trainers but don't necessarily look like sneakers, you got to be talking to Bannigan. Fucking Bannigan, that's the only shoe I've ever seen the man wear. If he could spend his entire life in the snooker, which is what I'm calling the shoe sneaker. I don't know if it's a real term, but calling it the snooker.
The trooner.
Bannigan buys a pair of schnoogers
every year. But we've spoken about Bannigan's shoe.
Okay, so you're looking for those for a pair of black ones. I see. So she finds a pair.
So she found a pair, and they look pretty good. And she said, shall I order these for you? And I was like, sure, okay. I've been through the rigmarole of ordering stuff online and sending it back and then getting something else and sending it back again. So I stopped buying stuff online. like
Right.
years ago.
Right.
I mean, tech that when I know this is exactly what I want and it's going to work when I get it, I'll buy that. But buying clothing online, things that have to fit, things where you're not sure whether they are the right size, it just takes up way too much of your time. You order it, they send it to you. It's the wrong color, it's the wrong size, it only looks good on the model in the photograph. You have to send it back, they send it back to you, you send it. In the worst case, you have to take the package somewhere specific.
Yeah. Okay.
In town, right?
You know what?
So it
I'm
chews
getting
up
on your
a
rant.
huge amount of your
I want to
time.
jump on this rant.
And you don't
Yes.
get it. You don't get what you want.
Yes. You know, there was a
And
time.
then when you go to the shop, you can't get it either.
Oh.
Which means that's why I'm wearing these.
Burn it
Look
all
at my
down.
life. This is what my life has become since the internet fucked it up.
Rompage, table flip. God, we're only 3 minutes in and it's crazy pandemonium. A quick shout out to Philly Girl 1000, Pavlov's dog, Tom Crawley, Verena.
Everybody wave. Everybody wave at the
everybody
screen
wave.
and say, hi, Verena.
Hi, Verena. Pavlov's dog.
Hey, Kathy.
Moko
Kathy.
and Kathy Tanner.
We've been checking out your tech for you, Del.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get you all hooked up, baby.
You're going to sound so nice.
In any case, I wanted to throw out there, yes, okay, I want to get down on this rant and rave for just a couple of seconds. Because back in the mid-aughties, there was this thing that started off where you could go to the internet and you'd have like a personal shopper. You'd fill out a questionnaire. You might even talk to somebody on the phone. And then based on that interview, your interests and style and taste.
I remember being
you
at your house when you had like bags and bags of shit that you were unpacking and checking out. And you were modeling it for me and I was like,
and half of it was awful. It was just
more than
most
half of it was awful.
Yeah,
Most of it
exactly.
was terrible.
This is why I want to be on that tip now, because you're absolutely right. And it's a pain in the tits. I have to admit, lately I have been getting everything that I'm getting delivered has been being delivered, and I've got a couple of great neighbors that will, grab a bag or a package or something if we're not home. And I will do the same for my neighbors, and that's really good. There was a long time where they wouldn't even try to deliver it. I remember being home sick, the bell is not ringing, and then there's a little zettel downstairs.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. Oh man. And then you go to the place to pick it up and they say you have to have ID. I remember being super sick, it was cold, it was snowy, I get there, they want my ID, and I'm like, look, it says Jim Libby on the package. I told you the address. It's gonna be me. No, we need this, or this. And one of the things that they needed was a Dienstnummer. They said...
From whom?
I said, okay, here's my Dienstnummer.
You just made one up?
And I just made up a fucking Dienstnummer. Luckily I don't have to go through that rigmarole, but DPD...
are the worst, yes!
Are the worst.
They fucking suck.
Tom Crawley dropping some truth bombs.
Yeah, I think that DPD is a place that Christina got some stuff sent the other day, and we had to drive to the 12th district to send the package back. You can't go to the post office. You can't go to the drop-off point around.
What's the point of having it delivered if you've got to go and do the work? So I am down with you on the hate.
You end up spending way too much time and messing around with it, and it's not cheaper.
Now, on the other hand...
But hang on, Tom Crawley said you need to go to the right shops, and I'd be interested...
GLS.
Like what are the right shops?
The right shops. I mean, he's talking about going shopping in Vienna. Now, the fact is, brick and mortar. There are some great places to go shopping.
But the selection is less since we have the internet. You can't I think it's really difficult to get some things. And it's also like things will come out and they'll be available for 3-4 months, 5 months, and then they'll disappear and they'll only be available online, if at all.
I have to admit, I don't know of any high street shops. So like on the Mahu. I don't know of any of the Mahu shops that I would actually go online to see if their selection was bigger. I don't think I've ever done that.
No. I'm not talking about the online. I'm not talking about the online presence of any of those shops. I'm talking some place that's in Spain or an online shop that's somewhere else completely.
What? I'm confused now.
Okay, so if you want to get a pair of shoes,
Yes.
and the shoe you want to get is available at Zalamander, you need to say yes so that I know you're on the same page.
Yeah, I'll go to Salamanda. I'm trying to get a pair of shoes.
So you go to Zalamander and follower of Clay. Nice to see you again. Haven't seen you in a while.
Nice.
So you go there to Zalamander, you see a pair of shoes.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And
Just by the by, Salamanda. Would you consider Salamanda a high-end shoe store, a mid-level shoe store, or a low-end shoe store?
all three of those at the same time, depending on the time of day.
Okay. In Germany,
Like I try not to shop
high-end.
there. I'm just using that as an,
All right.
as an example
Okay,
now.
let's move on.
So if you want to get a pair of shoes,
Yes.
and you know they were available at some point at Zalamander,
Yes.
right, and they're no longer available,
Yes.
you will not find them on the Zalamander online store.
No.
You will find them on the shoesareverything dot
Of your choice.
etc of your choice, right?
Okay.
Possibly.
Possibly. Well,
But they'll be the wrong size, the wrong color, and
I hear you, but I don't think that is in fact a problem of the internet. That is a problem of fast fashion. That's that thing that H&M came up with instead
I
of
think
having
the internet
seasons.
has exacerbated it.
That could very well be. That could very well be.
So now
But-
these internet shops buy up everything 2 months after it's been released.
Yeah.
Or 3 months after it's been released, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can no longer go to the brick and mortar shop and buy it there. You have to buy it online.
Well, that's the
And
thing
You can
is-
never fucking put it on your foot and see whether it fits you.
Yeah.
It's like Christina spent something like 4 weeks buying one pair of white trainers. And we had trainers coming we had trainers coming into the house like
Every day.
2 days.
Yeah,
There'd
yeah.
be 2 packets of trainers coming in, and none of them was worth it. None of them. I think she did not decide on a pair.
Okay. There may be something there, and you know, I'm sure there is some macroeconomist that knows.
It's the worst shoe store in the world. It's quite possible.
It is quite
possible. We should take a vote.
Whether these forces are causal or just you know, residing next to one another, but the idea of fast fashion and the idea of these companies buying up the stocks of these things, because sometimes it's just cheaper for them to send you a new one and you just throw that shit away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the other side of this coin, I think.
Yeah,
which
but
is
it's a
big
complete
problem.
waste of resources as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
Yeah, the whole sending back thing, the whole free sending back thing, and the free postage. Like,
Yeah.
if you send things back 3 times and get the same thing sent to you 3 times, that's going to cost as much as the pair of shoes. So how the hell is anybody making any money out of this? And how are they paying people's salaries? You know, this is why DPD and DLH and whatever the fuck their names are, this is why their service is so crap, because they don't pay people salaries they can live off.
No, of course not. Follower of Clay, I don't think that this internet is really gonna make it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
gonna make it.
Internet or internet.
Yeah.
I say internet.
That's where I watch my Netflix.
No. Oh God, Netflix. Okay.
Netflix.
You
want to yell about Netflix?
I wanted to yell about Netflix, and there was a particular yell that I wanted to do, and I've forgotten what it was. We have to do a special Uncle Mike goes ballistic about Netflix.
All right.
I fucking hate Netflix.
As soon as we learn how to make that happen, we'll make a thing. and then Uncle Mike can have his rant of the week, and we'll give him his 2 minutes to yell about whatever he needs to yell about.
And make a list. We'll make it a fixture. Yeah. I need some life hacks on how to deal with Netflix, like how to get the best out of Netflix. Oh, actually, this is it. I have a life hack for you.
Okay, hold on a second. This is me. Wait.
We need to
Uncle
do...
Mike's rant of the week. No.
You have to do the cue for the hack of the week. Life hack of the week.
Okay. Life hack of the week.
Okay, so we need a better budget for the music, but otherwise I like the rest of that. So life hack of the week is, if you're looking for something on to watch on Netflix, and Netflix always suggests the biggest crap. Like even if you've put no thumbs up in there and you've watched nothing, it'll say 57% recommendation or 92% recommendation for some crap.
Yeah.
And you wonder, well, how the fuck do you arrive at that, Netflix?
Yeah. You suddenly think I'm a 14-year-old girl.
And Netflix keeps suggesting something for you to watch.
Yeah.
But every line is like Your List and Popular on Netflix and new releases and stuff. It's all the same shit. Like all of those categories is the same shit. They just keep plugging the same 10 things that they want to plug.
Oh, it's almost as though they have a captive audience and want to experiment.
So here's how you find stuff on Netflix that you don't get offered in your feed.
Yeah.
You go to the search bar and you just put one letter in there, a T or a U, and it'll show you a ton of movies that have a T or a U in it. Titles of movies, right? That don't turn up in your feed. It's a great way of finding things to put in your list.
Have you tried searching actors or directors?
Hang on. He says you spent it all on the table, clearly.
The budget for the special effects. Yes, clearly. And Muchacho, the bucket list is going to be another one. It's going to be like, whoosh, 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 bucket list.
No, we're going to do that bucket list thing. We're going to do the vomit comet. Vomit comet. Everybody on Isbaz is going to go on the vomit comet. I swear, we're going to do this, people.
Yeah, we're going to make that happen. Okay, so I like this. I like this as a nice life hack. So you're saying you type in a letter or maybe 2 letters, and then in the search, all those things that come up will be different than what the algorithm has been giving you on the
precisely
U.S. dramas and TV shows with a strong female lead and films that tug at the heartstrings. I don't know if that.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
In fact, Verena, you're right. It's similar to searching a movie you like, but it's better because it gives you way more suggestions. Just put
it goes
in one
outside
letter
of that thing. Yeah. And I think searching directors and actors, I think you'll get the same thing.
No, Pavlov's dog. I don't fall asleep in front of my laptop binge watching. I binge watch with my eyes open all the time, so much so that Netflix asks me, "Are you still watching?" And I have to click on, "Yes, I'm still watching, Netflix. Stop interrupting my program."
Though I do know we both have a friend, in fact, a guest who has been on It Should Be About Something, Mr. Dennis Kozulu, who would binge watch things on his laptop and fall asleep so often that when his kids were young, and they are no longer young, in fact...
Well, he needed all the sleep he could get. He had 3 kids.
His oldest son right now is anxiously awaiting
his
first child. So Dennis...
Do we know whether it's
I don't
son
think we
or
know
no?
which flavor it is yet.
Oh,
no.
okay.
But in any case, he did this so often that his kids called it Daddy's Bauchkino. Because he would lay on the couch and put it on his belly, his laptop on his belly, and watch it and fall asleep.
Yeah.
And Daddy would be with his Bauchkino.
I've had Dennis fall asleep on me several times while watching a movie.
Right on top of you? On your belly? Did he fall asleep on your belly?
No.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, okay, let's not get into that.
Okay. What's a Netflix?
what's Netflix? Follower
Never
of
seen
Clay.
a second. Oh, Follower of Clay. It is, I mean, yes, as much as he complains about it, Netflix has got a lot of good attributes, and we're very happy with it. It could be better.
Pavlov's dog obviously has better anger management than I do.
Oh, certainly.
And yes, it's not difficult to have better anger management than Uncle Mike, because Uncle Mike has no anger management at all.
'Tis true. 'Tis true.
Okay, so this was supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, it got all fucked up.
But Jim fucked it up.
Jim did not fix it.
Yeah, he did fuck it up because he put a pluck in there and then he moved it and stuff. So it just.
But Jim also made this thing, so it looks.
Jim made the thing. That is true. Yeah, but somehow we can't get it to be.
Stop.
It's
perfect.
But if it's perfect here, it's no longer perfect there. You see?
Yeah, it's because the table's wrong.
We are in a studio that does not have a single straight wall in it.
This is true. Hey, you know what? That was a really good first chapter.
Are we done with that?
Yeah, and if we could have a way to play music and have a thing, to take us away from the first chapter into the introduction of the next chapter, it would probably look like something like this.
With a harmony that goes. You're doing my voice.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's my voice. Ta-da.
Okay.
And we're back.
We are back. Honestly, Amazon Prime is worse than Netflix. Pavlov, you're kicking down open doors here, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
But see, Michael, this is what we ran into last week. You can't, after we've ended a chapter, you can't look at the tech. You can't look at it because they're behind us a little bit, and so that last
You're
bit,
behind us a little bit.
Your face is behind us a little bit, Michael.
So, Follower of Clay, have you found out who this guy is?
I do not know who Follower of Clay is.
Obviously he's like.
Oh no, Follower of Clay. Of course we know who. Of course we know who Follower of Clay is.
You figured it out.
Yeah. In fact, Follower of Clay had a birthday, as far as I remember, very recently. So happy birthday, Follower.
So
of Clay.
who is? Are you going to tell me later?
I'll tell you later.
Yes, I hate when they tease me with movies and you have to pay extra. Yes.
Knock, knock, Michael.
Who's there?
Little old lady.
Little old lady who?
I didn't know you could yodel. Little old lady.
Oh, God. Is that a Follower of Clay joke?
Well, he just said Jim yodel, so there you go. Happy birthday.
Well done, Follower of Clay. Yeah, but you know what's even worse than Amazon Prime asking you to pay extra for movies is Netflix recommending movies you've already watched. I mean, what kind of algorithm is that?
Why do we even have chapters?
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is why.
Screw it. We're done with that first chapter.
Absolutely.
No more ordering and no more internet.
Now we're between chapters, because if we had the whoosh, 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 you'd know it. But now this is what I'm going to say real quick about this, because I think Thomas Crawley, who often does this and has also been a guest on It Should Be About Something, has brought something. The thing about the algorithms and the thing about curating. Curating, I remember, in fact, I think Thomas Crawley and I talked about this years ago, because we were talking about improvisation and why it's important. And my thesis back then was that because the internet is a copying machine, which is great, and it's wonderful that it is. I mean, we as human beings, we are copying machines. Our cells are constantly copying, and that's how we learn. We copy from one another. But because of copying, things have less of a value. There's too much supply for the demand. So it costs nothing. The worth and the cost, I am going to be interchanging here a little bit. But my point is that things that you cannot repeat, things that you can't copy, are now very important, have always been, but will become even more important, I think, in the zeitgeist. And I think this is something that Thomas is touching on. Maybe this should be a chapter. But what I mean by it is, because you can't copy it, it has more worth. So back in the day, there was a time where you had to go to that certain church to see that certain painting. Nowadays, we can have the David on our refrigerator as a magnet and slap some clothes on him. On the one hand, that's great because a lot of people are exposed to something that they may not have been able to have been exposed to. But on the other hand, it cheapens it. And so the experiences, the things that you cannot copy, will become more and more important. And curating is one of those, because that's really about trust. Trust is something that you can earn, but you can't copy. And so the curators of our lives, the people who are the aggregators, the ones whose taste that you trust, are going to become more and more important. And staying away from the algorithms, because an algorithm will never be able to do that.
But the thing is,
maybe, to a point where you can't tell it anymore like CDs.
What an algorithm eventually always does is narrow things. That's what they do, algorithms. They narrow things down, so you always keep getting more specific but less stuff. And I'm not sure what you're saying, Kathy, because we're still on here, and I just checked it.
Yeah.
So, and I think curating is unfortunately difficult as well, because I think there's a very fine line between curator and influencer. And in the digital world, an influencer is not someone whose opinion you should be trusting.
I think that is another chapter, and I'm not even going to go and touch that yet.
No.
So I am going to say hello to Andrew, and yes, it's like those fake toothpicks you had, Jim, from that one place in New York. Now, of course, you can find anything online. Yeah, that's the globalization flat world thing. In any case, that was our in-between thing. I think maybe there's something more to talk about here, but I do agree with Pavlov's dog. It's time to move on. We come now to It Should Be About Something, chapter number 2. What's chapter 2, Michael?
I think chapter 2 was getting a diploma, yes or no?
Oh.
And the reason I want to ask this is because the reason that I find this interesting is that there's so many places online that you can go to these days, and they offer courses in anything.
Okay.
From crocheting to
everything. But before we get too deep in this, I just want to make sure that we're very clear about what we're talking about right now. Now, we're talking about certification, right? Getting a diploma, because we kind of talked a lot about this idea, what it means, just so that everybody can follow along. What we're talking about is the idea of, is getting the certification worth it or not? Is that our big question?
Okay, the question is, going to a university or a technical college or something to get a diploma there. So actually going to a classroom, putting in the hours in a brick and mortar place, taking live classes and actually being physically in a school. Is that worth it to do that for 4 years if you can get a certification from an online academy in much less time?
Yes.
And does it teach you the actual ins and outs?
Okay, so, no, you're muddling it again. Michael, no, I need to keep this clear. Just for me, maybe I'm a little high. I need to talk about this. But look, we're talking about the difference between going to a university, because that's the one thing, and getting a certification. So basically doing that classical education to get a certification. Or is that worth it? Or is it viable to just learn for yourself without getting a certification?
You can get an online diploma.
Because if you're getting a certification, then you're just trading where you're learning, and that's not a dichotomy.
It's more involved than that, because if you go to university, it's a really expensive thing. You need to go there. If you're not in the town where that university is, you need to travel there. You need to find living space. It's enormously expensive to go somewhere and study something.
So are you talking about the worth it being, if it's comparable and the certification is the same, whether it's worth it to actually go to the university or to do the same online? Is that our question?
Or that is part of the question, yes.
Okay, right. So that's why I'm saying this question is very confusing.
It's a confusing question, yes.
Right. So let's break it down. Let's talk about that. So first of all, going to college. Now, as Pavlov's dog has said, their PhD isn't even worth
Well,
getting.
this is because that minister faked a PhD, basically.
Oh.
This came out this week.
Oh yeah, the woman who copied things and then did
She
the
put
Google
them through
Translate.
Google Translate and
Right.
didn't even check them afterwards.
Right. Andrew went to a brick and mortar school for theatrical lighting and learned everything he knows about technology online, and that is what he makes his living with. So not conclusive. Yeah. So I never went to a brick and mortar university. I spent a lot of time in a brick and mortar university, but I did matriculate for a little while. I only took 4 classes though. Acting is an excellent case in point here. OBS training makes better actors, but lots of successful actors never went to school for it. So that's where that question comes. But for actors, it's fine. For a doctor, I would really not recommend that.
Yeah, so the question is, how much hands-on training do you actually need? And does hands-on training count? How much should hands-on training count? It's like you can, the thing is, you can go to YouTube, and if you have a knack for something, let's say photography, okay? You can go to YouTube. If you have a decent camera, you can follow tutorials on YouTube and find out how to become a really good photographer. There are pros on the platform who will show you all of their tricks. You can become a really decent photographer.
I hear you, Michael.
You never have to spend a buck on going to photography school, right?
But Michael, you're not talking about the same question anymore. Now you're talking about, because you're not going to get a certification as a professional photographer.
Sure you are.
No, you're not. No, you are certainly not. You're not going to get
If you go to a university
online.
No.
Well, then what are we talking? You were just talking about the online classes. This is what I'm talking about, people.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to keep us on the one conversation. If the conversation is going to university or not going to university, but still getting the same accreditation, then I think we're pretty clear. There's some things that you would want to go there for, but there's a lot of things that you wouldn't want to go there for. But you're talking about a thing like photography, where the accreditation, where the certification is schwammic. We're not talking about the certification here. Yes, you can go to a brick and mortar school and pay a lot of money and learn about it, and you can also do it online, and both of those experiences are going to be different because of the socialization. However, all I'm trying to say is that that's not a job that's a certification job. There are some things in this racket where you have to go to that university.
Doctors.
Like doctors. Or, I'm sure, for example, Andrew, great example. Motherfucker can fly a helicopter. Dude didn't learn that online. You got to go to a thing.
Yeah, sure.
But you know what I mean?
But obviously there are things that you can only learn if you are actually doing them.
So here's the question, and I think this is what I wanted to talk about before. Marcus says, hey Marcus, he says he went to university, didn't learn anything he couldn't have taught himself, and
the reputation.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's part of that construct.
So you start
scam.
doing the thing and you get a reputation. That's what's going to get you jobs.
But Michael, you went to university to learn how to become an actor.
Yes.
Was that worth it?
Yes. Nobody has ever asked to see my diploma.
No. But you're really glad you did it.
Yes. I think it would have been impossible to learn all the things that I learned if I'd tried to teach them to myself or done like separate classes or separate courses, trying to get all that stuff together.
Which is exactly what I did. I never went to a university, but I went to a ton of workshops. I read a ton of books. I experimented a ton. I put myself through my own kind of little university.
Well,
and that's the thing.
I think even if you're going to university, you're putting yourself through your own little university because everybody does their own thing with what they get.
You get out of it what you put into it, I've taught at a university and you see those students the same thing. Yeah. There's a lot of people who have certifications in acting that
they can't even spell certification in acting.
They couldn't act certification.
Yeah. I don't know. Where are we going with this?
Well, the question is going to a university worth it? And I think we're doing a pretty good job of trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I think there are certain things that you have to go to a university for. I think there are certain things that, unfortunately, you have to go to a university for. And then I think there are things that you don't have to go to a university for. And one of those reasons is because of the internet. The internet has given us the opportunity to really have that incredibly Greek sort of idea of university.
It's all available.
It's all available, and it's just there for your own edification. You don't need to be a certified filmologist, but you can take a great film history class and learn a lot about it, you know?
So Tom Crawley says it's worth it going to university for the sex and drugs. Now, if you're a people person, you should
I've
definitely.
got some of those things.
I'm going to suggest you go to university.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the reason this kind of
I like how
piqued my-
Marco put this. That's the point. If nobody's interested in your diploma, then who cares? But if you need one, then it should be worth more than the paper it's printed on.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. But I think I think the reason I started chewing this subject was that recently I've got into working with cameras because of ISBAS and
Right.
sound tech and stuff like that. And I've downloaded a load of stuff onto my computer, and I've started doing tutorials on mixing and editing and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So for things for subjects where the basic need is a computer, those might be the subjects where you don't necessarily need a university. If you have the tech that you need, like previously, if you wanted to go and study sound design,
You had to go to the
you had to go to university because they had those 24-track or 68-track mixing consoles, and nobody could afford them.
That's right.
But if you have a good computer and they're much more affordable, you can do all of this stuff at home.
Well, absolutely. And this goes back to my point about the internet being a copying machine, because there are wonderful ways to learn just about anything you want. Absolutely. But I don't know if anybody would disagree with me when I say how much nicer that would be to get that same instruction in real life.
In person.
No matter what it is. Now, yes, you can study history, you could study math, but there's something about inflection, there's something about the energy behind words that help us as human beings make connections more than others. All I'm saying is, yeah, I think it's great that we can have the David on our refrigerator. But I would also like to go there and see the fact that when you're standing in front of it, the David is huge and light pours out of that marble like nothing else. I mean, it is gorgeous. And it's contextualized because you're in this amazing museum. I love the fact that I've gotten a chance to see it on a refrigerator. But dang. So I think it's a little bit of both. I totally hear why you're
It definitely doesn't apply to everything.
Absolutely not.
No.
It does not apply to everything. But if I'm learning how to tango, I want to do that with somebody else.
That's right. An online tango course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Coming up soon.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be taking that tango course.
You're not going to take that tango course?
I'm not taking your tango course.
What if it was mambo? What if it was a mambo?
Is it Mambo number 5? No, I'm not taking a Mambo course either.
This is Mambo number 5.
Mambo.
This is Mambo number 5.
Okay, I think we've chewed enough of this. I think this topic has gone as far as it can.
That's right. David's got a big butt.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, we're going to call it on this question. Now we're in the between times. This is where it's all
So the music's still playing.
Music's kind of playing. We're taking a break. We're taking a drink.
I think I'd like another drink.
You'd like another drink? All right. This is a little behind the scenes, people. This is what you got. We're not doing any...
Let me see if I can remember what topic number 3 was. Yes, I do remember.
Well, we're not there yet. We're still in
I'm
the
just
between
trying to
times.
remember what topic number 3 was.
Oh, okay. I thought you were pulling the trigger there, man.
Interrupt the flow. Not interrupt.
Isn't there the saying, it takes two to tango? It takes... Pearl Bailey. Somebody please find on YouTube and put it out there for everybody. Pearl Bailey singing It Takes Two to Tango.
How many does it take to mumbo?
One of my favorites. Number 5.
It takes 5 to mumbo.
Takes 5 to mumbo. Ladies and gentlemen, this is mumbo number 5. Yes, this is kind of a commercial
What was that?
break.
More of that. Who was that guy? Lou
Bega.
Lou Bega. That's
But it was Perez Prado, his Mambo number 5 that he sampled.
Oh, okay. Cheers.
Yeah, this is something like. Speaking of commercial breaks, that's actually a nice idea. Here's a quick little commercial. On Sunday, I am going to be doing a show, an improvised show on Zoom, and I'm going to be performing with 3 other wonderful performers, Marvin Meinhold, Nele Kiesling, and Beatrix Brunschko. And the 4 of us are going to be doing a Zoom show. This is, you can see it on, there's info on Facebook. Maybe I can find a way to get this in here. It's going to be really fun. The idea is that we get an inspiration and then we have 20 seconds to run around the house putting on a costume and finding a spot and do the scene, the Zoom call with whomever's there.
You need to go and check out Jim Libby's Facebook.
That's right. Check out
There'll
my
be
Facebook.
information there.
Yeah, that's a good... what would I do without this guy?
Go to Jim Libby's Facebook. He has
Did
2
I
of
put
them.
vodka in there yet?
I don't know. I didn't see you put vodka.
I don't think I did. Lou Vega? Not
no,
Bega?
Bega, no, it's Lou Bega.
I think it is with a B. Lou Bega.
Lou
But
Bega.
anyway, did anybody
But
find...
who the hell is Mambo Kurt?
I don't know. Let's find out who Mambo Kurt is. Mambo Kurt.
Mambo Kurt.
And I also want to find somebody, please, Pearl Bailey doing It Takes Two to Tango. 2 to Tango. It's such a great tune. She's awesome. 2 to tango. 2 to tango.
Okay, so...
Wait, I still haven't put my new drink in.
That was all Red Bull. That was Red Bull pure.
Yeah.
When I leave here, just in a little bit, and turn all the lights off, Jim's still going to be sitting here doing this till Sunday when he goes online with his show.
Yeah. It's my preparation. Don't shit on my process, man. You shitting on my process?
I didn't realize it was a process.
Don't shit on my process.
Cheers,
brother.
Best Isbaz so far ever.
Oh, man.
The best background, definitely.
It really
It
is a
fucking
good
rocks.
background. I hope everyone can see how cool this background is.
Why did we do this like ages ago?
Right? Why does it look so
Way
good?
better.
Oh.
So, okay.
So now we're gonna go. Now we're out of this in between times.
Yeah, we're not gonna look at the chat.
That's right,
feed
and we're gonna go.
see what
Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Chapter 3.
Chapter 3 is
What is Chapter 3, Michael?
Chapter 3 is breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
Is there a time, if ever, when it is okay to break the law? And you brought this topic up, I think.
Did I?
And I can't remember whether it was before the 6th of January and the storm of the Capitol or after. But that kind of seems like maybe that's a way in.
Say it again.
So, breaking the law. Are you ever? Is there a time to break the law, if ever?
Yes.
It's like when you're getting high.
No. I think there are plenty of times to break the law. But let's first ask the question, Michael.
Have I broken the law? Oh, I've broken the law on tons of occasions.
Now,
I've got arrested I've got arrested and spent the night in jail. So, yes, I've broken the law. Would I recommend it?
No. I think there's a lot of
and
reasons.
was I justified in breaking the law? Yes, once I was, actually.
Tell me about the one time you were justified.
I got attacked on the street by a person who was out of his head on something.
Was this in Vienna?
Yeah.
All right, paint me a picture. Paint me a picture.
I'd lived my whole life in gangster's paradise, Johannesburg. I'd hitchhiked home at 4 o'clock in the morning, and nothing ever happened to me. One night, I'm walking home to my apartment in Vienna. I get attacked by a guy on the street.
All right, paint me a picture.
And
what time of year is it?
It's winter.
Okay. And are you in your home district?
Yeah.
Which was at the time?
Like the 3rd district.
You're in the 3rd district. Oh, okay. You know the 3rd district. Okay, so you're in the 3rd district. You're walking home. What does crazy guy do?
He goes for my throat.
What?
Yeah. He's walking down the street, sees me, and goes for my throat. Two hands like this.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And what happened?
Well, we got into a tussle, and I suffocated him.
When the hell was this?
About 25 years ago.
Okay, so you were like 9.
Yes. So he had to be resuscitated, and the emergency services came and picked him up.
You choked him out on the street? Did you have like a knee on his chest? What street were you on?
Well,
this is the 3rd district. Was there snow on the ground?
It was Erdbergstrasse. No, there was no snow.
Was he wearing a lot of clothes? Did you recognize that he was crazy right away?
Yeah. He came at me going like this.
Was he like a zombie or was he like a vampire?
A zombie.
Okay.
So we get into this fight, and I choked him out, and he had to be resuscitated. Somebody
and
came.
That's why you spent a night in jail.
I was calling for help while I was holding him, and he was struggling against me.
Right.
And somebody came out of some doorway and resuscitated this guy before the emergency services arrived.
Okay.
They put him in the ambulance, took him away, and the cops arrested me. I was like, so where are the cops? And there was this cop standing, a plainclothes cop standing next to me. The cops are already here. And just kind of led me to a car. And I get in the car.
Motherfucker was there the whole time and didn't say anything? Okay.
But, well, I don't know, he arrived sometime.
Okay. Damn.
So then they took me to the cop shop, and I spent the whole night there. Until the guy regained consciousness in hospital,
right,
and attacked the nurses and the doctor, which is when the hospital called the cop shop and said, "Okay, this guy's fucking crazy. You can let that other guy go."
Dang. And you were just trying to get home.
I was just walking home, yeah.
Oh, that sucks for you, man. Yeah. Holy ampersand.
So yeah, breaking but that's not really breaking the law.
No, that wasn't breaking the law. That was just getting arrested.
I mean, it was self-defense and I got arrested, but it's not really breaking the law.
I once got arrested for shoplifting.
Really?
But I wasn't shoplifting.
Oh, see, I shoplifted a lot, but I never got arrested for it.
I shoplifted a lot and never got arrested for it. And then one time, I wasn't shoplifting and got a ticket for it. And in fact, twice. It happened to me twice. I'm going to tell you the whole story.
How did you get a ticket for shoplifting if you weren't shoplifting?
So, I'm living in the 4th district. This is going to be in the early '80s, and just up the street from where I lived on the Bramsplatz was my Bipa. My Bipa, where I always went. And you know me, I'm a gregarious kind of guy. I'm garrulous, as it were. I'll flap my gab. And I had some, people that are, the ladies that work there, I knew them all,
You were flirtatious with the ladies who worked at Bipa.
I like having friends in the neighborhood. If you see somebody twice a week, every week,
and she's kind of cute.
Not even. I mean, it doesn't matter. I just think, the shopkeepers in your street, you see them all the time. I don't know. I like having friends in my neighborhood. In any case, I knew these people. And I had gone up to buy some stuff, and I had too many things in my hand. And I had this tan corduroy jacket. I don't know if you remember it. I wore it all the time. Had these great big pockets on the side. It was a really nice jacket. And I remember I had too much stuff in my hand, and I must have put one thing in my pocket. I go and I buy the stuff, and I go out, hand on the shoulder, come around, there's something in your
There
pocket.
was a detective.
Apparently.
There's a shop detective.
Yeah. And I said, oh, holy shit. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. I totally forgot that. I mean, yes, this was part of my stuff. Nope. They wanted to arrest me. I'm looking at the women there. Any one of them, I in fact even said, hey, you guys know me. I come here all the time. There's no reason for me to do this. I wasn't doing it. Obviously, I was an idiot.
And so when they were interviewed, they were like,
turned on me like a fucking Nazi.
there you are. And you think you had friends.
1939.
You think you had friends there because you were always friendly with the people staff. You gullible person, you.
Yeah. And
when they were interviewed, they was like, yeah, he comes in here every week and he's super friendly and he's probably been stealing a shit ton of stuff.
I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was so sad. And it made me think, yeah, I get why the Nazis
fuck
made
those
it
guys.
here in Austria. I see how that came around.
So talking about breaking the law and Nazis, so let's go,
by the way,
let's go to DC.
Okay, before we go to DC, I just want to finish my story real quick. Anyway, these cops take me down to my apartment, and I, at that time...
You had a whole shelf of Billa stuff.
No. I wasn't registered in Austria yet. I was still living as an U-boat, which was another time that I broke the law, and we can talk about that. But I had these cops come into my apartment, and I would posters on the wall and shit. I was like, all they have to do is make the one call. They didn't. I just had to give them, the $30, and they went away.
Cool. Okay, so when is it cool to break the law? When is it okay to break the law? I think that was basically where we started, right?
Right. Is it okay to break the law, and when?
So,
if yes, when?
I think the time to break the law is
Switzerland.
when you're justified. The question is, how do you know that you're justified in breaking the law?
Yeah.
Like all those Trump and Z's who marched on the Capitol on the 6th of January, they thought they were justified in doing that. But they obviously weren't. So how do you know whether what you think is your justification is actually correct? How do you know that you're not delusional?
All right, so I think it comes down to this. I think, well, I don't want to talk about it like that. Jesus, okay, you're bringing up the fucking Capitol now?
Well, no, we don't have to talk about that.
All right.
I mean, I think it's okay to break the law.
I think it is okay to break the law, and I think you should break the law.
Like the way that Sophie Scholl broke the law.
Agreed. If a law is unjust, absolutely. How do you know whether you're on the right side or not?
You might be delusional.
You absolutely might be delusional.
And there are definitely people who are delusional.
There are absolutely people who are delusional. However, I think one of the biggest reasons, and this might be a little side curve here, but here's my pitch to you. I think one of the strongest emotions a human being in this day and age can feel is the feeling of righteous indignation. Meaning that if you are on the right side of an issue, you feel like you are on the right side of the issue, and not only that, you have found someone who is on the wrong side of the issue. And if you can show that that person is on the wrong side of the issue and you are absolutely in your heart of hearts, and not only that, but in the context of it all, on the right side of the issue, then that righteous indignation that you have gotten a chance to slay the dragon is such a powerful emotion. It is a hugely powerful emotion. And I think that a lot of our societal ills comes from the seduction of that emotion, coupled with the idea that because in commerce the customer is king, that gets translated because we as citizens have become nothing more than consumers, that gets translated into normal society, and so since I'm the customer, I must be king, I must have the right of way. If I don't have the right of way, then somebody else must be wrong, okay? And so I have this presumptive righteous indignation that I am of course right, even though I may not understand the context of the entire situation. I may have gone off on that. I think maybe I need to have my own rant. Can I have my own rant section too?
Yes.
All right, it's going to go, Jim's rant. Okay, but this is why I'm bringing it back to this. My question to you then is, if you are on the right side, if you know you're on the right side, there is always going to be somebody who says you are not on the right side. Because the line is not solid. There's always going to be somebody.
Well, no, I don't think it's even about somebody. The law says something. And is it okay, if ever, to break the law? That's kind of the question.
I understand what you mean about
right?
the law. I guess my somebody was society. There's always going to be...
Like, society is always a filter of what the law is, you know.
Right. I think about Dave Chappelle's How Old is 16? But that's a different thing. History is written by the winners. Yeah. Andrew.
Well...
Absolutely. I remember my buddy Matt Anson used to say, history is written by the guy with the guns. The guys with the guns are always the ones that win. So
that's not even that is true to an extent.
To an extent.
But it depends on your bubble, because if you're in the right-wing Nazi bubble, they've rewritten their own history. And they've even, rewritten all the bad shit and made it good shit. So
if you know you are on the right side, you're absolutely convinced you are probably wrong. That's the thing. That's the thing about conviction and why that very palpable, seductive feeling of being righteously indignant is so dangerous. Because it's the same thing that happened. It's the same goddamn thing that happened with the lockdown in fall that should have happened, but nobody did because you don't change your mind, right?
I want to talk about what Tom's saying here. So reasonable people always have doubts. I don't think that Sophie Scholl doubted for a second that she might be wrong.
No, but I think what he's talking about, not that she wasn't doubting herself at that moment, but questioning the law and then questioning oneself to make sure. I do think at some point she had doubts, but then became utterly convinced to go against that sort of thing. And I think that's the thing that happens for everybody. The problem is today that we can't agree on what
I don't think
fucking
so.
facts.
I think she
You think the power of conviction, you think conviction is then the decision has been made and there's no more question, and that's what conviction means?
I think it's quite obvious that there was only one right thing to do, and what the Nazis were doing was not the right thing to do.
Well, that starts to get us into a different conversation, I think. Are we talking about it? Oh, okay,
Well,
we're sliding into a conversation.
I think it's about, I'm just trying to get into what reasonable people always have doubts about things. If the law is we're allowed to kill all people who are called Jim,
yeah,
and
reasonable people would be like, okay,
every reasonable person would be like, that's an absolutely ridiculous law. There's no thought needed to determine whether that's a good law or not. It's a bad law. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but I think we're sliding into a different slide of it. Yes, I think Tom's comment about reasonable people having doubts is simply that, and we get into that conversation of dualism, and which is, I think, a huge problem with the conservatives. But and that is there an absolute right? Is there an absolute wrong? And God damn it, now I feel like it's a Louis C.K. moment with just eat your French fries. Why? But if you're looking at whether conviction can have doubts, I think conviction is perhaps like courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite having fear. So perhaps here it's the same thing, that conviction is not the absence of doubt. It's moving forward while still entertaining those doubts. I don't know.
I don't agree.
I'm sure you don't. But I'm trying to bring it back to a thing. We might have to make this a new chapter, Michael. But you need to.
So
you need to narrow your subject.
But maybe we need to. This was your subject.
Yeah, but you're the one who keeps sliding it open.
So, but maybe we need to talk about.
We need a lawyer for this conversation.
We need a lawyer for this conversation. Yeah, I think Andrew's.
Where's my attorney?
Right, and we need a time machine to go back and actually see whether we're justified in believing what we believe.
Yeah.
So let's take this take this down a couple of notches. Let's not make it so dangerous or so political.
Okay.
But are there
times when it's acceptable to break the law?
No, I want to actually ask this: are there times when you feel that you're being like that there are too many laws, and you feel justified in breaking the law because there's just too many of them, and you're being micromanaged by them?
I hear you. I think perhaps that there are a lot of those socially acceptable situations, like the idea of, and there's a word for this, maybe somebody out there knows what this word is. In a park, you have pathways, but then sometimes the park planners plan a pathway that isn't quite as efficient. And so then after a while, a new pathway gets cut by people because they just go along, right? I think that happens with laws sometimes. I think there have to be some gray zones. I think there are places where those things absolutely happen. Riding the U-Bahn, there's a lot of Schwarzfahrer. And if you meet somebody who's like, I rode on the U-Bahn without buying a ticket, nobody's going to be like, oh my God, you terrible person.
Maybe in Switzerland.
Maybe in Switzerland, absolutely. But in this society, a lot of people would be like, yeah, I mean, it's a socially accepted breaking of the law, right?
Yeah. Examples where I've deliberately broken the law and considered it justified.
Smuggling drugs over a border.
Drugs. Like looking.
Drugs. I'm going to go with drugs. There's a lot of drugs that I've taken. All of those times they were against the law, and I feel justified in breaking that law.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Definitely. Yeah, all the drugs I've taken that were illegal, I felt justified in taking them because.
Jaywalking.
Okay.
All the times I jaywalked.
Jaywalking. I've got fined for jaywalking, man.
Do you know why they call it jaywalking?
No.
Because they would call people from the country, people in the city would call people from the country Blue Jays or a
really?
Jay. And that was a slightly derogatory term for somebody from the country. And that was presumably somebody who didn't know to cross at the crosswalk. And so if they crossed wherever they would cross, because in the country you would just cross the road wherever, they were a jaywalker.
All right. So, okay. But this is a good example because I feel totally justified in crossing the street wherever the fuck I please.
Yeah.
Because there is no justification for entire cities being designed around cars. But most people in every city go wherever they want to go by foot. Like I think the average worldwide is 60% of all destinations are reached on foot in cities. But cities are still built for cars, so you have to cross the street there, you have to wait while the cars pass on the girdle, 6 lanes of fucking traffic going up and down. And it takes you forever to get where you're going because you have to follow these ridiculous pedestrian walkways. And I completely shit on that.
I hear you.
I'll
hear
walk
you.
wherever the fuck I want.
Pavlov's dog dropping some, I like this, that's why there are differences between strafrechtlichen Vergehen and Ordnungswidrigkeiten.
Ordnungswidrigkeiten.
Ordnungswidrigkeiten is now my new favorite word. Ordnungswidrigkeiten.
Yeah, that's a civil infraction.
Yeah, speeding and riding black are civil infractions. Ordnungswidrigkeiten. But Ordnungswidrigkeiten is a little more fun to say tonight.
Yeah. I don't know. When I was broke, I used to shoplift food.
True that.
And I felt justified in doing that because otherwise I wasn't going to be eating that evening. So,
well, I suppose, we can justify everything. What Jim referenced with the pathways. Yeah. Desire pathways. Thank you very much. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, and so I think there's some of those desire things in our world. And you can justify a lot of things. In fact, a lot of laws are justified, even though they may not be right or not. But again, that's a different conversation. And unfortunately, we've already gone over time.
Breaking the law by buying condoms in Northern Ireland to import to the Republic. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah. There are places. Have you ever been? Oh, right. When I
never
lived
gonna
in
get out
South
of this.
Africa,
Yeah.
oral sex was outlawed.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have oral
Well,
sex.
we could talk about all of those. I remember there was in Michigan for a long time, it was still on the books that you weren't allowed to whistle underwater.
You can't whistle underwater.
In Maine, I know, in Maine, at least up until
That's
the
a
90s.
ridiculous law to go and break.
I know, but these are these so-called blue laws. Sometimes they're called blue laws. Sometimes they're laws that were done for some reason or another, and then are no longer valid. Nobody really uses any of them anymore. But like in Maine, I remember even up until the 90s, there was a law that, in fact, it was on the books that if you came to a crossroads, you had to send somebody 20 feet out in front of you with a lantern to look both ways.
If you were driving the car.
Yeah.
And because they just never struck it off.
Yeah. And so like oral sex being or sodomy being illegal. Yeah. But these weird laws is a subject for a future episode. Thank you very much, Andrew. And I'm going to now curtail any more of Michael's bullshit because
it's 21:37 and it's been about something.
This would be the end of
most
our
part.
third chapter. We would go whoosh, 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 and then we would.
If we had budget for the music, that's what the music would be doing.
But we're going to work on that because now that we've got this awesome background and we got this cool setup.
Maybe we can play some more music.
We're going to get some music
maybe
again.
These speakers can do something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen,
mess around with this.
Friends and neighbors.
It's
and
been
everyone
awesome.
in
Thank you for being here.
You know
Thank
what?
you for joining us.
I think this was the best It Should Be About Something ever.
This was number 28.
It was. We started numbering them. It's going to be cool. But this has been the best one.
We started numbering them. Next thing, we're going to start giving them names.
Yeah, maybe. But
and genders.
It's been the best one, and I'm glad we did it.
It has.
Ladies, gentlemen, burps.
Friends and neighbors, thank you for being here.
Everybody in between. Thank you all so very much. Okay, we'll go back to the chat so we can say goodbye to everybody. Transporting alcohol across the bridge in Portsmouth. Oh shit, I should never look back. That was Philly Girl 1000 talking about buying tax-free alcohol and then bringing it to a state that has tax. We're saying goodbye, everybody. Good night. Thank you all
Yes, thank you, Tom Crawley, for justifying my actions. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Verena. Everybody wave at
Wave
the
to
camera.
Verena.
Wave to Verena. Goodbye.
Moko. We don't know. Do we know Moko?
No, Moko is cool.
We love Moko. Thanks, Moko. Thanks for joining us.
Speeding, justified in speeding. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
some
we'll talk about that one. Yeah.
Pavlov's dog. Always nice to see you, dude.
Tom Crawley.
Tom Crawley.
Andrew. Thank you.
Andrew.
Thank you, brother.
Philly Girl. Yeah.
I think Andrew said he got the Pro Bailey
Life
song up.
coach and Energetica. Like, you were here for the first time as well, I think.
Life
I've
coach
never
and
seen that before.
Energetica. I think I know this dude.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And that's it. Marcus, thank you very much. Follower of Clay.
Follower of Clay.
Follower of Clay. Happy birthday. I think we got everybody. If we didn't, we'll see you next week. Come
Yes.
join us again. Good night. Good night.
Thank you very much for being here.
Bye, everybody. Turn it off.
I'm turning it off. Da, 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 da.